Hi and welcome back to my channel. To start today's project, I need to tone down the white of my paper to match the stamp I want to use. And of course, I'm taking out my watercolors to do so. The color I'm using is the Sennelier Warm Grey, and I'm not going for a smooth wash. And when my paper is dry, I can go ahead and stamp, and I've chosen the big skull from this Mr. Bone Jangle set by Visible Image. Now I want my skull to be quite thick, so I'm gluing a second piece of paper behind him before I'll be cutting him out, so that'll make 2 layers of 300 GSM thick paper. I'm using some bookbinding glue and my finger, as I don't want to wash out a brush, and then I'm just going to put something heavy on top of him so he can dry flat. While my skull is drying, I'm getting started on my background. Now, warm grey is a rather light color, so I've mixed up some of my warm grey with a tiny bit of the Sennelier neutral tint to get a slightly darker tone for my background. I even want some darker stains, so I'm mixing in a bit more of the neutral tint for a new layer. While my background is drying, I've cut out my skull and I'm going to give him a tiny bit of shading to give him some depth. I've ripped off a strip of plain fabric, which I also distressed with a scissor, and I'm going to color it with my watercolors. You can dry it using a heat tool. Now, I thought that it had a bit too much color, so before it's completely dry, you can go and take some color off by drying it using a paper towel. And the reason I needed the piece of fabric is because I wanted to shut up my skull. Now, the reason I needed my skull's mouth shut was because I wanted to use this stamp from the set Music On, World Off. This stamp was the start of this project. I'm going back to my background where I'm going to stamp some of those tiny butterflies. So I'm masking off the ones that I don't want, and I'm also only stamping them once, as I don't want them to be too dark. So I'm using the texture of my paper as a tool, just to keep my butterflies a bit distressed in the background. Now, I know I want to mount my skull with some foam, but I want him to have a shade, and I don't want any white to come from behind him. So I'm tracing him with a pencil, and I'm going to lay down some black on the inside of my shape, so there will be no white peeking from underneath him. And now this is all done, I can go and add some shading on the outside. If I see that my charcoal pencil is too soft, I might just go in with my Inktense pencil too.